Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So today we're focused on the summer solstice, that's the 21st of June 2019. If this is a different year to 2019, some point in the future, it doesn't matter, it is a timeless reading. So if you've got it for a different summer solstice, or actually if you are in the southern hemisphere of the winter solstice, it will still count for you. It's still all relevant. It's really a mid-year review for you all, where you can look back at sort of what's going, what you've got to work on, and what's coming towards you. So please bear in mind that this is a generalised reading, so just take what resonates and leave the rest aside, which clearly does not fit into your life and what's going on for you at the moment. That's absolutely fine to discard parts of it. So we have option 1, 2, 3 and 4. I will put the timestamps in the comment section and in the description box. If you want to book a private reading with me, you can. That information is in the description box as well, and my Instagram link and all the information on the decks that I am using are also in that description box. So I now want you to meditate, to get yourself calm and peaceful and relaxed. Take a few deep breaths, remove all thoughts from your head and allow all your negativity, all your stresses, all your fears, all your hopes and dreams to fade away. Let them rise up above you through the top of your head and let them float up to the ceiling. You don't need them. Be relaxed and open. And when you feel in that state, ask yourself, what will the summer solstice bring? When you feel the time is right, you can make your choice. Trust your instincts. If you need a little bit more time to do that, then please press pause now and then click on the timestamp and I shall see you there. Hello those of you that chose option 1, this is your reading. What's the summer solstice going to do for you? So here we have a card that represents what's leaving you. As the June the 21st comes around, you're going to find that you realise or discover that this is really finally passed, or is the beginning of it passing out of your life. And we have, brilliant, the tower. So a lot of you have had some time of deep upheaval in your life. This could have been a sudden thing, but also actually could have been going on for a long time. Some of you could have had your tower moment even up to a year ago or 2 years ago even. And your life was disrupted. That could be anything, that your life absolutely changed. But now you're sort of coming around to it. You've sort of rebuilt your tower. You're rebuilding your tower. You know, so if you lost your job or you had an end of a relationship, you're coming out of it. And also, like, people don't realise that the tower moment could be even a positive upheaval, because it represents the old life disappearing and that a new life needs to be rebuilt. The new tower needs to be rebuilt. Well, having a baby will do that, or having something unexpected in that area that you suddenly, it's like bolt of lightning, knocks down what was before. And when you have a child, you need to rebuild your life in a new way. So there absolutely is this element of having to restructure your life, having the foundations of your life, that are your core elements, but then transforming and changing it so that your new life with this new foundation is built up and is successful. And you are at that point. You've had your upheaval, you've had your chaos, and now things are starting to settle down. You're starting to get a grip on what your life is now. Letting go of the things that don't serve you. You've let them go. You know, sometimes you had to let them go and they've crashed down with a great height, but you just had to let it happen. You know, things have happened suddenly and shockingly for you. But this is to tell you that that's over. That's over. You are now in the point where that's leaving you, and you have re-established yourself in some way. Put that up there. This card represents what you need to work on. So the Tower moment, whatever it represents, or your, you know, feelings, realizations, you could have had a dawning epiphany, and now you're ready to work on it. This is what the work you need to do on yourself or your world, or whatever. And we have the King of Wands. That resonates completely. This completely makes sense, because it's about feeling in control and capable and professional. It's like the mentor, the teacher. So I think that some of you maybe have completely changed up their lives, and that's required you to perhaps learn some new skills, like go back to school even for some of you. And now you're at the point where you know what you need to do, but now you need to have confidence in it. So you might have been developing some new skills. So if you'd been in a long-term relationship and it's over, and you sort of have got over the emotional chaos of it, you're getting to the point now where what you need to do is work on your inner confidence, your inner comforts, and that's comfort with yourself, so that you find a nice cozy home to live in, and that you feel confident and safe and powerful enough to go it alone. You know, the King of Wands is somebody that believes in themselves, that they know and are competent at making plans a reality. They don't wing it, they don't fly by the seat of their pants. They know what they're doing, but they still do it with passion. They still get excited and fiery, but they know now where not to take any unnecessary risks. And I think this is connected absolutely to your Tower moment, in that some of you have perhaps even taken a risk, and now the work you need to do is to have confidence to plough on with that risk, to not lose faith. Because sometimes when we take a risk and we expect it to pay off, you know, you hear online and in magazines and on the TV, oh well, I suddenly quit my job and then now I'm a millionaire. They don't mention the 5 years it took to build up the business, where they really didn't have enough to eat. They were worried about paying their rent, and you know, the business was hemorrhaging money. They don't mention that part. They just mention the part where they're really successful now. And some of you are in that midpoint where you will be really, really successful, but you're at the frightened point where you think, I've risked it, I've let go of what wasn't serving me, but now I'm thinking, did I, you know, at least I had it, you know, but it's gone. It's gone absolutely. You've got a bright new future, and you need to believe in yourself. You need to have faith in yourself. And that's what the King of Wands is saying, for you to work on being empowered and confident and capable, and in your professional life as well. So this card represents what's coming towards you. So this is really what the summer solstice is bringing into you, or the winter solstice, depending on where you live. And this is the pole star. So that's the star card. And this is it. This is what I was saying. You're going to have confidence in yourself. What's coming in, if you work on your inner confidence and your self-belief, even if you're scared and you think that you're not good and you're going to make mistakes, that's fine. We all make mistakes. What you need to do is think, oh well, I'm going to learn from it and not repeat that mistake, and sort of, even to a point of laughing it off, as long as it's not a very serious mistake that's caused great harm to others or something, you know, like you've cost the company a fortune. You know, you've got to find that you know, but stumbling over and making a minor mistake, don't let it eat away at you. And when you do that and have that confidence, you're going to be able to follow your inner star, because this is what that person's doing. They're going through the woods to follow their star, and that star is not a sign from the universe. It's not a foretold prophecy. It's just your inner star, your hopes and your dreams, your aspirations. I almost feel now with these three cards that some of you have wanted to do something and you've taken a risk on doing it, but you're at the moment of crisis almost at this summer solstice point, where you're like, I'm too scared now to go for the final push. And the message is, don't give up. Keep following that star. Keep going on that scary journey through the woods. You're frightened you're not going to get through, but you will. you will get through and you will thrive and succeed, because you have the skills that you need. And this Tower moment has given you the skills that you need in order to have your big moment of discovery. It's like, not like becoming a star, but just becoming what you want to be. And this is important. This is what the summer solstice is going to bring into you. It's bringing in that energy of allowing you to follow your star. And you need to be confident in yourself to do that. Even if you don't 100% believe it, tell yourself that. So this is for love. What's something, you know, some of you might feel that this resonates as what you need to do. Others that no, you already do this. It means that you're going to get the opportunity to exercise this skill, or whatever it is, or what the message is. Flirt. Extend your light-hearted energy to others. So yeah, you need to be flirting. That's what you need to be doing. If you're already well practiced at flirting, get out there and do it. But it's very much getting out there. Extend your light-hearted energy to others. So make sure you go out and have fun with people that you like and people that you can flirt with. You know, flirting is enjoyable because there's no commitment. You know, there's no promises there beyond let's have a little tussle. You know, some people think that you know, flirting is the first step to the promise, you know, fulfilling the promise. You know, it's just, you know, step one, but actually it's not. It's very much a social lubricant. And to flirt implies charm and comfort with the self and ease with yourself. So it's being confident again. So you need to, in your romantic life, is to be positive and light-hearted and easy, and not to suddenly expect that you've met your soulmate or your twin flame or your true love or whatever your bag is, baby. You know, it's not going and saying you're the one. It's going and saying you're fun to be around and I like it, and even if it's only for an hour, let's have fun and be, you know, easy going with each other. And that's, for some of you, that's a really important message. Some of you just need to do it, or do it more, or exercise it, or give yourself the opportunities to do that. And some of you are desperately, you know, looking for love. It's telling you that you're taking it too seriously, too to heart, and losing sight of what's really important, which is your own happiness within yourself. You know, this is not a free pass to be selfish. It's saying you must love yourself first and be happy with yourself before you can truly be ready to accept the love that other people offer you. Because it's just like people will be giving you their love, and it's falling into an abyss that will never be filled, and you'll never be completely trusting and all the rest of it, fully believing in their love for you. Or you'll be all their love will be bouncing off you, you know, like you're, you know, on a trampoline, like a kid jumping on a trampoline, or the love is just bouncing off. You've got to find this love for yourself, and then be easier about it, and be a bit more light-hearted and less stressed about it. That's what that message is. And for some of you, it absolutely is for your love life, but I feel actually for others, it's about generally in life. That some of you, I think because of this Tower moment, are taking things incredibly seriously, and you now understand what can happen in life when you have it upturned. And it's not always pleasant. You know, Tower moments can be pleasant, trust me. Where you're in charge of dismantling the tower, when you have that epiphany and think, I'm living a lie, let me just get rid of all the bricks that are loose and not working, and let me just build it up so it's a strong tower and a stronger life. That's a very positive thing to do with it, to move with the changes. It's when I think we deny these things about ourselves, ignore the signs, ignore the truths. And you understand that, and this is why you're a bit afraid of taking that risk, because you've been stung, you've been burnt, and you don't want it to happen again. But the message is you're not going to get stung or burnt. You actually have learnt the lesson, and now's the time to feel safe and confident. You know, you sort of rebuilt your tower, and you've got your cosy home with your pets and your warm fire, thriving plant life, you know, everything's fine. So don't be afraid. So this is your final message, and that is trust, which is what I just said before I overturned the card. Trust in what's happening. Trust in what has happened and what is happening, that it's all going to work out well for you. You know, that I think that you know how to avoid great catastrophe because you've been through it. And as long as you trust that you will never endanger your own life or take unnecessary risks, you'll be fine. But trust that you can follow your star and find what you're looking for. And that's really what the summer solstice means for you at the time of you watching this video. So those of you that chose option 1, I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comment section, like, subscribe and all the rest of it. If you would like to book a private reading with me on this particular subject or any other along the lines of my videos, then you can email me. All the information that you need is in the description box, so give it all a read and then send me an email. Otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Hello everybody that chose number 2. This is your reading. What will the summer solstice bring for you? I keep on stumbling over the word solstice. I don't know why. This card represents what's leaving you. So like on the 21st of June, this sort of knowledge or experience or event, whatever this card is, it's going, and you'll either realize it, you know, sort of think, oh yeah, it's all gone, I can feel it, it's gone, it's over, or you'll start to take action on making this go, because now's the time for this no longer serves you and it's time for it to start getting out of your life. So what we've got here is the Hierophant. So you've been sort of following the crowd, not rocking the boat, you know, sticking to the status quo. Some of you, it's just a case of the path of least resistance. You're just not interested in being controversial or challenging. You're doing something that's traditional. That's the way it's always been done. But this is leaving you now. Now's the time not to do that anymore. Now's the time to actually challenge things and sort of, you know, some of you have been going along with something that works for a lot of people, but maybe not for you as an individual. And you're starting to realise that, or will start to realise that this isn't helping you anymore, and that maybe now's the time for you to take a more individually tailored path. A path that's uniquely yours, that allows you to express who you really are, or to discover who you really are. It's like leaving a religion, basically. It's like being raised in a particular religion or faith and then thinking, but I don't actually believe it, it's now time to leave that faith. It can also count for like a family business, you know, like everybody's always joined the family business and you realise that you don't want to join the family business, you want to go off and do, you know, like everybody's always gone to work in father's, grandfather's, great-grandfather's business, and you're thinking, but I want to train to be a doctor. And nobody's ever been a doctor in your family before because they've always gone and worked for the family company, but you're realising you want something different, or just like conforming in some way. And you know, it doesn't have to be, it can be just that your relatives, family, friends, your community, your culture has a particular set of beliefs and a faith and a foundation, and it's just sort of accepted, and you're sort of realizing that that's not who you really are. But yeah, you're leaving behind the expectation of carrying on and doing something the way it's always done, you know, an established set of rules. Or for some of you, I mean, the Hierophant is a mentor as well, in terms of teaching someone the, you know, established set of rules. So it can mean a teacher or a religious mentor. So some of you could be finding that you're actually leaving that person behind because they've taught you all that you can learn from them, and now it's time for you to go off alone. So that can be religious, but it could also be that you're leaving school, or you're finishing your qualifications. It doesn't have to be. I know it says the priest, the Hierophant, the high priest, the pope, but it doesn't have to mean that. But it is something that's very much an established foundation, sort of expected. You know, you've never questioned it before almost, and now that you are starting to question it, or you will be in the very near future. So this card represents what you need to work on now that the summer solstice is coming. You need to work on this, you know, and deal with it in your life. So we've got the Ace of Atames, which is seeing a truth. It's cutting through all the rubbish. You sort of, if you've got a cluttered mind and you've got lots of opinions and lots of thoughts and you can't stop thinking about something, perhaps connected to the Hierophant card, now is the time to start being sterner with yourself, less emotional, absolutely less emotional, and to be more logical and critical and just cut through all the crap. Basically, is to just cut through the rubbish and say, do you know what, I see that clearly. That's just confusing me. Gone. See that? It's just not doing me any good. It's an old, outdated thing. It's like going through your wardrobe and accepting that loads of things are out of fashion and don't fit you anymore, and you might as well take them to charity because someone else can get use of them, or, you know, selling them on eBay. You know, it's an acceptance of something, and that's what you need to do, is working on your ability to see things clearly and accept them, and just cutting through the rubbish, having that eureka moment, having that moment of, oh, I understand, I can see it clearly now. Because some of you are not seeing things clearly. They're not seeing this thing clearly, that maybe you've outgrown something, or that it isn't really aligned with how you want to live your life and who you are as a person. And you need to sort of step beyond that. Whatever this is. Whatever this long-standing arrangement is, you need to start seeing it clearly. So start looking out for things, you know, depending on what this resonates as. You know, starting to look out and see critically. The best thing I try and do is see if this was someone else's life and their problem, and they sort of came to me and said, what should I do about this? What advice would I give them? You know, sometimes my problems I can't see clearly, but if I start to really say to myself, let's pretend it's someone else's problem, what advice would I give for them in this position? And it can help me get in to see things objectively. I mean, you're never going to get 100% objectivity with your own life. It's impossible. But you can get more objectivity so that you can start to find your way into what's going wrong, and start to be able to look at what's been going on critically and act in a clear, truthful way. It's looking for the truth. You've got to start looking for the truth. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything coming your way that's going to help with that, because this card represents what the solstice is going to bring to you. And hopefully it'll aid in this Ace of Atames. So we have Ace of Stones, the foundation of life. So in this deck, stones mean pentacles. So what's coming towards you is an opportunity for a new beginning, and it's a new beginning that's going to turn into something. You know, like the Ace of Atames is having this revelation, the opportunity of a revelation, and this is what you have to work on for yourself, is to give yourself the opportunity to have this truthful revelation. You know, but this is being offered to you, it's coming into you through the summer solstice. As this leaves, it's being made way for something new. And it's absolutely something that can grow into a tangible product. It's like having an idea for a new business, for a creative endeavour. Like you suddenly see, oh, I know exactly how a painting that I could do. You can see in your mind's eye how this painting will look. That's that moment, and then you take it and you get the supplies and you paint the painting. Or you have the idea for a story, and then you start to write the story, or, you know. So this is what's coming in for you. As you try and see the truth, you see a new opportunity for something to be born that is tangible, that will grow into something, you know. Like further along down in the Pentacles, we have people waiting for crops to ripen and then plucking them and then reaping the rewards. This is the whole point. It's the beginning phase. So you're definitely getting a new opportunity, I think, actually, to lead a new sort of life. And it's all about seeing your own life currently very clearly, because I'm seeing these together now. Some of you are just quite simply in a stagnant situation. You've like been in the same job for years, or you've discovered, you know, like you're heading towards midlife almost, and you think, but I never pursued that dream. And it's like saying, the moment you see that, and the moment you see the things that you need to let go of because they're just boring you, they're stagnating you, The opportunities will come in to follow that dream or to do something more interesting if it's not about a dream. But yeah, absolutely. It's like things are waiting to come to you and all you have to do is see it. So we have here the card that represents your love life, your romantic life, and it can resonate in terms of something that you feel you might need to do. Others of you might feel that this is an opportunity that's coming your way. I'm leaving that open for you, and we'll just interpret the cards both ways. Healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Now that immediately just resonates with the Hierophant card, because it can, it's established. It can mean your established family, the one that you join in and stick with. Obviously like a marriage even, because it's a Hierophant, and it's, most marriages are religious ceremonies. But what it's saying is you've got to heal these family issues. So if you've got things going on with your partner and your children, or your parents and your siblings, you need to deal with it. Now you're going to get the opportunity to do that, or deep inside yourself that you've got to initiate that and make it happen. Because your love life isn't going to benefit, if specifically, until you deal with something possibly to do with your parents and your childhood, or until you deal with something about being a parent. So if you and your partner have been arguing a lot recently because of the kids are hard work, there's a lot of pressure, they bring you great joy, but let's not pretend that they are not intensely hard work and transform your life into something that becomes, kids need security and regulation, and that regulates our lives. So yeah, it's something's been going on in terms of family, and it's causing snags in your love life, in your relationship with your partner, or if you haven't got a partner and you're completely single, it's going to be something from the past, and it's to do with the family. And you're not going to be able to, you've got to deal with this before you can move on and find the love that you're looking for, because it could be something to do with the way that you were raised, the example you were given in your childhood of a family life, and you're thinking, well, forget that, because that was awful for me as a child. My childhood was terrible, and I was very unhappy, and in fact I'm happier as a single adult on my own, because who wants to go through that twice and with all the responsibility, and this is possibly what you need to see clearly, that in fact it doesn't have to be repeated. You've learnt those lessons, and if you heal from it and move on from it, that you can then go on and find the love that you're looking for, or that maybe you need and definitely deserve. But yeah, forgiveness, heal, let go, doesn't mean you have to suddenly embrace them back into your life, the people that you've sort of said, I'm leaving you behind, you hurt me. You don't have to let them back into your life, but you have to let them go in your heart and heal from it. So here's like your advice, your message. So you might find that if there's a particular question or something going on that's outside of what I've said, you might find that this is the answer, but the situation will improve. Brilliant. So whatever you're going through at the moment, it's going to get better. Heal family issues, it'll get better. Start seeing the truth, it will get better. It's almost like you need this sort of dawning revelation of what you've been doing with your life, and suddenly having this moment of, oh, how has this happened? Almost like if some of you are self-sabotaging, you're going to realise that, or you need to realise that, and then you can have something brilliant come in. Because remember, with the opportunities, the aces, they offer you a gift, an opportunity, a potential. If you don't seize it, it'll go. It's not going to hang around forever. It's like somebody coming to say, oh my God, we were great when we worked together at so-and-so place. Come with me to my business. And you say, can I have a week or something to think about it? And they go, sure, I understand it's a big responsibility for it. At the end of the week, you've got to tell them what your decision is. At the end of that 7 days, you come back and you say yes or you say no. But you don't say, I need an extension. You have to be decisive, which is also what this card means, being decisive, making the decision, cutting through it, accepting. So, because you can, opportunities are great, but not all opportunities are created equally. And if you have a lot of opportunities, you have to think about which one is the better for you, which is going to have the better impact on your life and the lives of those that surround you, that you love, because it's the ripple effect. So yeah, but the situation will improve. And I think it will improve because of your decision regarding the opportunity, the foundation of life, the foundation of a new life. So that's you've got quite a big summer solstice. You know, it's going to have a bigger impact on your life than you might have thought. But this is all opportunity for you, and you can make the decisions about how you're going to live this out, live this potential out. So those of you that chose option 2, that's your reading. I really do hope that it's helped you. Please leave me comments, likes and subscriptions. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can. It's all in my description box. Check the description box, read all through it, and then send me an email. It can be on this particular situation or any of my other videos, or if you have a specific question, I'm more than willing to help you. So I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Hello, those of you that chose option 3. This is your reading. What is the summer solstice going to bring for you? So this card represents the things that are leaving. So you might discover that you actively decide to remove these things or this aspect from your life yourself around the time of the summer solstice, or that you find that when you reach that 21st of June mark, that it's sort of disappearing from your life or is finally gone. It'll be different for each of you, but this is leaving you. Oh, and the moon. This is interesting. So I think that the moon will represent for a lot of you confusion, you know, unclear thoughts that, you know, like some of you have not been able to process things. They've been dwelling in your subconscious and you've been struggling to get them to your conscious so you can sort of pick over them. But instead you've been having strange dreams. Some of you have really been having peculiar dreams and have been really trying to understand what's going on with you in your life or in regards to a particular situation. But this is leaving you. So I think the opposite, and this will be interesting to see what the card says, is that some of you are gaining clarity just by simple virtue of the fact that the confusion's leaving you. You know, that this sort of having things in your murky subconscious where they can't really voice themselves, but they just sort of act out, is going, and that's good. I mean, our subconsciouses are wonderful, magical places and fertile grounds. But when you're really needing to make a decision or understand something, they're no good. They're just going to cause you trouble. And I think this is sort of what's been happening, that, you know, you've sort of been looking down inside yourself and seeing a scary reflection. You know, it's the weird, intense dreams that make no sense once you wake up and you can't process them. They make sense as you're dreaming them, but when you wake up, you realise it was just a series of distorted images that don't really tell you anything. Because the dreams that we remember are the dreams that clearly inform us of something. It's almost like our subconscious has gone, yeah, I've worked it out, okay, I'm building it into a comprehensive narrative for you, let's just play the film. You know, and those are the dreams that we really, really sort of remember and have as reoccurring dreams, where we really start to say, I'm getting grips to this now. So now you can start, being aware of it. So yeah, so some of you actually might have more dreams, but they're less chaotic, crazy dreams that make no sense. You might find that your dreams start to make sense. So that's what's leaving you, I think. Confusion, lack of clarity, murky feelings, and I think almost looking in the reflection and not seeing what's real. You know, some of you have been looking in the mirror and not seeing who the real person is looking back at you. You're sort of thinking, who is this stranger? That's going to be leaving you, and that's good, because it's important. If we can't see who we really are, we can't truly live our lives. And there will be points in everyone's life where you don't see yourself clearly. I mean, the obvious one is in our teenage years when puberty hits, and, you know, we're adolescent puberty, going through our teenage years, everything's changing at such a rapid pace, you can't keep up with it. Hormones are going crazy, and it's just this massive smack in the wall from childhood to adulthood, and it doesn't seem long enough to understand what's going on. So don't panic if you feel you don't see yourself clearly and you don't know who you are and what you stand for. That's going to be leaving you, and you're going to start on the journey to understand yourself. So this card represents what work you need to do. So you need to do this work on yourself or in your life. And we've got the Ace of Chalices. That's interesting. So what you need to work on is love. Some of you have met someone that you are falling in love with, or you might think it's a big crush. Some of you are having a crush. You know, everybody says love at first sight. It's not love at first sight. It's a crush at first sight. You only really love someone when you know them, and that takes time. And love develops and changes and deepens over time and depending on our connection. But we definitely have recognition at first sight and crush and lust at first sight. But this for me doesn't represent that. I think that you are currently having burgeoning feelings for someone. And I think maybe that's what you've been trying to understand. Maybe this is somebody that you don't normally go out with. Maybe that, you know, they're a different type of person, or they have, you know, the way they live their life is not normally to your taste, to your understanding. But for some of you, this is about self-love. Some of you are needing to work on your self-love. And I have to say, you know, I've got rid of actually the secondary thoughts first, because there's one big important thought that immediately went into my brain that I feel is going to be the most resonant one for my viewers, and that is creativity. Some of you are trying to create something and it's been trapped in your subconscious. You've had a vision of art, of music, of theatre, of film, of writing a novel, you know, literature, and it's been trapped in your subconscious and it's struggling to get out, and you're frustrated, and it's going to be coming out basically. And this is what you need to work on, because the chalices mean sensitivity, emotions, feelings, but also artistry, true artistry, as in an actual art like painting, music, performance. And you need to work on this new creativity to build it up. You know, it's the opportunity of it. So some of you it's your feelings and emotion, others of you it's your art, and that's what you need to focus on. So this card represents what the solstice is bringing into you. This is leaving you, this is coming to take up the space. Page of Vessels, Otter. So we've got another cup. So it's chalices are cups, obviously, and Page of Vessels is Page of Cups, and that's Otter. So what's coming into you is that you're going to develop whatever this represents for you, but it's not going to be fully developed because it's a page. So there's still going to be immaturity. So it's like if you're developing a piece of work, a piece of art in whatever medium you work in, this piece might not be like your masterpiece. It might be something that you look back in time and say, oh yeah, that was my bridging, you know, it was one of my early pieces where you can see my immaturity and my lack of experience, but if I hadn't done it, I wouldn't be who I am today. So don't panic about that. Some of you are thinking it's just going to be the masterpiece, but actually it's just your stepping stone to other things. What's coming into you, you know, the page also can be a bit immature and a bit fickle because they're so young, or it's the emotion behind it is so immature. So you might not be fully ready to commit to it. So it might be an idea that you develop so far but then cease to. And I feel it's connected to the fact that the otter is sitting there on the side, on the rock, on the bank of the river, but yet not dunking in and not going and swimming with the tide of it. She jumps in, she or he dives into the water. They can swim against the tide, but it looks quite strong to me, and then they will go down this little waterfall, and they don't want to yet. Eventually the otter will, and that's when you progress to the Knight of Vessels and the Queen and the King. But at this moment I don't think there's going to be anything big going. It might be that you need to work on this for, you know, till the autumn or the, you know, spring solstice for you, or even the winter, summer solstice. depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, so don't feel disheartened by that, because some of you will be thinking, what's the point in putting the investment in? You have to. It's like nobody is a genius at anything. They tell you that. They might have a natural talent but they have to work at it. Nobody's going to be able to just suddenly play Mozart after one piano lesson. You know, they have to have 300, 400, 500, 1,000 hours worth of practice until they can do it properly. So you're at that phase. You're at the beginning of something, and it's creative or emotional, and you do have to pay attention to it. So now we have a card that's representative of your love life, your romantic life. So this could be a piece of advice you feel you need to follow, or it's something that you know you need to do, or it's active in your life. You know, it's up to you. I'm going to leave it open. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. That's interesting, because those two are positive. Okay. I think with this is it's paying attention to your red flags. If any of you are engaging in self-destructive behaviour, you've got to pay attention to it. Because if you're the sort that will have an idea, let it go so far and then let it drop, that's the red flag. It's saying you're wasting your talents, your emotions. It's like you fall in love with people, and then you have a bit of a crush on them. You go on a few dates, and then the romance is over, the exciting first honeymoon phase is over, and then you end the relationship. You've got to stop that. You're being told, you're cautioned, you're just being said, don't do that. You know, for some of you, it's the red flags that is going on in a relationship in your life at the moment. Some of you might have been having a bit of an instinct about something, hence maybe the moon, is that you've got an instinct, but you can't pin it down. You know, your guts are saying something, but you know, I just don't quite know what it is. There are some things going on around you that are red flags, and you're sort of not paying attention to them. You're not noticing them. Well, that energy is dissipating, remember, and new energy is coming in, and it could be that, you know, that you're starting to see what's really going on. That behaviour you sort of didn't appreciate before is now, say, you know, a big red flag, a big warning sign saying that, yeah, okay, that's not good. That's not good. I don't like the way this is going. So absolutely. But I think for a lot of you, it's about paying attention to your own red flags in terms of a relationship or how you approach love. Because people do, they desperately want love, they desperately want to find somebody, but they've got themselves trapped in unhelpful behaviour that really repels people rather than attracts them to themselves. You know, you can't attract a partner because of the way you behave, and they can't see it because they're trapped in this energy. They're not paying attention to the red flags. They think everybody else is being unreasonable, but in fact, perhaps they're not being the best partner that anybody could ever desire to live with. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to be honest, it's either you or it's them. And always look at yourself first. Be honest with yourself. And then, you know, once you've acknowledged that there's a few things that probably you're not doing right, then you can start to look at what they're not doing right and seeing where that takes you. Because there's something new sort of that you can focus on, a new love. So if any of you have met somebody new that you've got a couple of things that you're thinking aren't right, pay attention to them and look further and see where that takes you. Because recently you have not been seeing things clearly, and you need to start trying to see things clearly. Imagine that your situation, like your relationship, was your best friend's relationship. What advice would you give them? That's what I always do. I had to say this in actually another reading earlier, is that if this was someone else's problem, someone else's life, and they came to you for advice, what advice would you give them? And it can enable you to get a certain degree of objectivity on the situation. You will never get 100% objectivity, but you can get some. So this is your advice, your message, or whatever, however you decide to interpret it. And we have look for a sign. Look for a sign. Pay attention to the red flags. Look for a sign. So there are things going on in your life, or you know, imminently that you're about to discover or have happened to you in the next sort of couple of weeks for the summer solstice. And they're signs for you to pay attention to. So if you start to see like red flag behaviour, like and that's different for everybody, but if you suddenly, you know, find that you're starting to get distracted by a shiny new project or a shiny new opportunity, and you're leaving the one that you were so excited about recently. You know, recognize the red flag in yourself. If this is in terms of a relationship and you're starting to see that this person is doing a few things that they shouldn't be, or it looks like that they're doing things they shouldn't be, look for the sign, look for the evidence, really. Don't make it up. Don't start looking and thinking, oh my God, you know, it sounds daft, but don't do things like, oh my God, there's a black cat, that's a sign. It's a sign of what? It's just a black cat. What you got to do is look for a sign of the traditional thing, you know, like look for a sign, oh dear, I'm going out with somebody who is just like that useless boyfriend or girlfriend that took a long time to get out of my life. The signs that you are doing things in your life, that you're repeating past mistakes, that, you know, some of you suddenly think, look for a sign that you're suddenly starting to eat too much sugar or drink too much, that you're doing things that are unhelpful. Look for signs within yourself as evidence of behaviours and attitudes, not for mystical signs, like I've seen the same advert for a pair of shoes 3 times in a row, I must buy them. You know, it's not that kind of thing where we manipulate things that are going to happen anyway. It's about a sign, as I say, of behaviour, of something actually happening, of what someone actually says. That's the sign. So those of you that chose option 3, that's your reading. I really hope it's helped you. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can. It can be on this subject or any other question that I've sort of done in videos before, or that you are interested in, you've got your own specialist question. I will be willing to help. Just read through in the description box first, then send me an email and I'll be happy to help. So please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 4, this is your reading. What will the summer solstice bring you? So this card represents what's leaving. The energies are dissipating, the attitudes, the whatever, it's dissipating, or for some of you will begin to leave your life on the 21st of June. You know, you'll decide to do it yourself, or you'll find that it's fading away. And we've got the 8 of Cups. So normally in tarot, this is the man that's walking away up the hill away. He's like leaving an emotional situation behind. So this is good. Some of you have had something happen in the past that's really affected you very deeply. You know, it doesn't mean that you're sensitive. It just means that it's really, you know, bothered you. It's weighed on your mind. It's weighed on your life. All the emotions have been trapped on the top of your head, influencing things. And now the water's pouring out. You know, she's tipping her head forward, allowing the emotions, the water, to just pour forward and leave her. And that's what's happening. This is sort of, you've been going through this process. You've been healing after a bad breakup, about a relationship that ended that you didn't want to end, I suspect. Or a big disappointment in your career. Maybe you haven't been able to pursue your chosen career. Maybe, you know, for some of you, unfortunately, you just didn't make the grade, you didn't make the cut. It isn't your special skill, there's something else. And it hurt. And for some of you, it's really taken you a while to get over that hurt, over that disappointment, over that failure. And you've been walking away, and a lot of people don't understand that. They think the moment that you turn and walk away, that's it. But that's really the beginning of another journey, the journey that you have to take, so that when you reach the end of it, you've got rid of all the baggage, you've got rid of all the junk, and that you're ready to move on to something wonderful and new. Some of you, it is love because it's a cup, it's your emotions because it's a cup, but it can be about anything. It can be about a career, family life, friendship, mental attitude, you know, having something that, you know, a disappointment in your life, you know, and you just hurt and you've got over it. But that's dissipating now. It's leaving you. You're outgrowing that energy of walking away and deciding to emotionally move on. You sort of, in a way, what I'm trying to tell you is that you have emotionally moved on. You've gone through the process. So it's like now you're ready and open for new things. You know, just by virtue of this leaving you, you're now ready for new things. It's like you're ready to reach the 9 of Cups, which is being emotionally satisfied and abundant. So these 2 cards represent what you need to work on. This can be in you as a person, but I'm also going to extend it to what you need to work on in your life. So take that as how you resonate. We start off with the King of Atames. That's interesting. That's the King of Swords. And the 8 of Wands. That's interesting. So what do you need to work on? You need to work on being logical and without emotion. You were overwhelmed with emotions to the point where you had to walk away from something. Whatever that was, you had to walk away. Now it's saying you need to work on not being so emotional. This is why that's leaving. It doesn't mean you have to work on being cold and heartless. No. It means you have to work on being rational and not overwhelmed with emotions. I mean, ideally it would have been nicer to see the King of Cups, but we've got the King of Swords. So I think for a lot of you, actually I'm wondering if a lot of you have gone too far into the King of Swords energy. If you were really, really hurt, then some of you could have closed yourself off emotionally, which is what the King of Atames, the King of Swords, does. Is an emotionally cut off person, a man, but it can be a woman. And I feel that almost some of you have cut yourselves off emotionally, and it's telling you to work on that. So if you feel that you recognise that once you had your heart broken, that's it, I'm not going to risk it again, you need to work on that, because there's no point like sitting in the office all on your own doing paperwork instead of sitting by the fire with your family. Because that's what that man's doing. He's just sitting there late into the night with all candles burning to keep it well lit, doing his paperwork, still at work. Some of you are overworking or focusing on work too much because you haven't invested in your emotional life recently. Hence, because you were walking away from, you were healing from something. I'm really drawn to saying some of you have had a breakup that hurt you and you've focused on work. The odd one of you needs to control their emotions a bit more, I see as a vague message. But I think actually some of you have really gone too far into the King of Swords energy. The cards, you just tap into them for a bit on certain occasions when you need to be really strong and emotionless. But then you can go back to being sweet and sensitive in the rest of your life. 8 of Wands. Well, the 8 of Wands is usually the 8 wands flying through the air. But here in this deck, she is binding flowers and she's got her 8 wands in front of her. So, I mean, to give it the traditional meaning is that you need to start taking action about something. And I feel in a weird way that this is what this card's saying in terms of her, is that she is taking action. And I think it's almost like she's got to put a bunch of flowers on each wand. Like she's adding the abundance, the flowers to the wand. You definitely, what you need to do is start taking action to make something in your life. To travel, to take action. I feel that even though it doesn't overtly say in the picture, I do feel that it's telling you to get out of this King of Atames energy. If you're too far into it, to draw yourself back. And if you're not enough into it, to get yourself into it a bit more. I'm just drawn to thinking, what on earth is it telling me about that 8 of Wands? What is that card meant to be telling me? Yeah, it's telling me the same thing. I'm just checking in the book. Yeah, it's saying the same thing. Swift action for advancement. Travel, period of waiting, ending. So you've got to start taking action to get yourself out of a particular situation that you've been in. So I'm just going to have a sip of water. I know so many of you send me messages saying that's very annoying, but sometimes your throat goes dry and you just have to have a quick sip. You're definitely needing to take action, which is what she's doing. She's making a bouquet and she's got her wands around her. I don't see how that represents travel, but I don't know. But it's definitely about taking action. This is what you need to do take action to become more like the King of Swords or less like him. And that's going to be different for each of you. We're going to see what the rest of the cards say, and hopefully that will make it a bit clearer for me. I will say, by the way, that it was only meant to be one card of each of these, and you got two for what you need to do. So it's really telling you to do that and do it quickly. I almost feel like it's like, do this quickly. So there's no time to waste. Why that is, we shall see. Because this represents what's coming towards you during the 21st summer solstice. It's going to start bringing, it's either actually around that date this will happen, but it's really what it's bringing into you. So you'll start to see it come into your life, manifest into your life, or you might decide to try and make this happen, in which case the period of around the summer solstice and afterwards, just afterwards, will be really conducive to having this come into your life. The forest lovers, it's the lovers. This is why you're being told. This is why you're being told. I think you're going to get the opportunity to meet someone. Some of you are. This is why it's saying about the King of Swords and act quickly. If you've fallen into being too cold, you know, the King of Swords, the King of Automates, doesn't chat to people at a party. He might if he knows them and he's comfortable with them, but he's a bit standoffish to new people. He's a bit of a Mr. Darcy. Well, look what happened with Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet. He was very rude to her, and then it sort of bit him in the backside for a bit. Obviously, it all works out well. In case, spoiler alert, it works out well. You're getting the opportunity. For those of you where you're not looking for love, you're not interested in love, you're happily married, that's not the point. The Forest Lovers is about the unification of two different things. It's about the choice to unify, but also the unification. It's about two aspects of yourself, the male and the female. We all have male and female qualities within us. And we get the most success when we accept that and unify them within us. That, you know, I have qualities in me that can be deemed by society as quite masculine, but I also have plenty of others that are seen as feminine. For men, that it can be the same. It's about unifying two aspects of yourself. And I think this is it. I think this is what you're being given the opportunity of. So if your heart was broken and you've gone too cold, you've turned into a bit of a Grinch, start really thinking about this and working on it, because soon enough, the summer solstice is going to give you the opportunity of Forest Lover, of the opportunity of merging these things inside yourself. And if you're starting to think in that way and starting to take action and taking it seriously and moving towards it and traveling towards it, it's going to be a lot easier for you. It's having a heart healed. It's having a heart, you know, and all, obviously like two hearts united. So some of you really are getting the opportunity to meet someone new. This could end up being long term. It doesn't necessarily promise that, I'm going to be honest with you, but it does mean that you will meet somebody. That the somebody that you will meet will be good for you. Even if it's not actually a lover, it's somebody that's going to be a good friend. Somebody that matches you in some way, a good match in some way. In love, in work, you know, it's a great colleague, business partner, friend, you know, that you love each other but not, you know, in love with each other. You don't want to get married or anything. You just, you know, enjoy each other's company, which is, you know, I think a lot of people can understand that. This is what you've got to start dealing with. Whatever for you, if this really resonates for you as, yeah, I have been a bit isolated, standoffish, not letting people in, you've got to start dealing with it, because somebody's coming towards you that I suspect wants to be let in and will be good for you to be let in. But this is going to be interesting, because this is a card representing the love and the romance in your life. So I want to see this. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations and visualizations help to bring you together. You're letting go of pain. You've got to start working on what's going on in terms of your isolation and your lack of emotion, or trying to calm down the emotion. And this is why it would be important if you calm down the emotion and really start to work at it and do it quickly. Because if you're overly emotional, and you feel you have met your soulmate, if you're a sort of dive in head first into the deep end kind of person, you know, you could get hurt again, not because this person wants to hurt you, but because you come on that strong and so quickly that you scare them off. Because I mean, we don't know anything about this person. They might, you know, just be a bit worried about that. They might want to take things slowly. And if you are too far into your energy that you don't let anybody new in, you can call all you want because they're knocking on the door and you won't open it. But you've been wanting love again, I suspect. I think that you've been wanting love, and the summer solstice is saying, okay, you've been working very hard, you've still got some to go. But yeah, they're coming in, you're calling in your soulmate. Maybe this is the opportunity that you recognise that you need to unify something inside yourself so that when you do call them, you are ready for them. Maybe it's reconciling the hope and desires that you have for love with your experiences of love. You know, as they used to say about second marriages, the triumph of hope over experience. In a way, that's what you need to have, because even, you know, if it doesn't manifest and you don't meet this person until like Christmas or something, you're calling them in, they're not going to be able to come in until you've dealt with the bad energy, you've completed the journey of healing. So some of you might actually come across this person in you know, around, or you know about this person around the summer solstice, but you're not going to I don't think they're going to come to you. You're going to keep calling them. They're not going to be able to answer until that. So this might help. This is your message. This is your advice. Listen to your intuition. So a lot of you have had an intuitive understanding of what I've been saying. You're like, yeah, Oak Tree, I get exactly what you mean. Stop talking, move on. In which case, listen to your intuition. Some of you need to start listening to your intuition. Some of you are so trapped in the King of Swords energy that you can't. You've closed yourself off to it. Closed yourself off. And all you can see is the Eight of Cups. I've got to move on. I've got to leave them. My heart's broken. I'm listening to sad music. It's swamping you. I really do. I'm starting to think that actually this is just telling me that so many of you are really trapped in that King of Swords energy and you've got to get yourself out. Because I don't feel actually with the rest of the cards that that's who you are actually as a person. So what you're meant to do is merge your experiences and allow them to make you whole again. You've sort of cut off part of yourself, and you want your soulmate, but you're not. It's. I almost feel. I don't like saying it, but I almost feel like you're going to blow it if you actually don't. Because you've got to be the sort of person. Be the person that you want to be married to. You know, the sort of person that you want to be with. You know, you're visualizing. If you visualize the wife or the husband that you would like to be, and visualize the wife or the husband that you would like to have, you'll start to attract them. But once you attract them, you attract this sort of almost perfect partner, or you know, really good partner for you. There's no such thing as perfection, but this really good partner for you. If you're just too emotionally cut off, they're not gonna have the reciprocal, you know, emotions that they need. So listen to your intuition. Start listening to it. You either have an intuition or you've blocked it off and you need to start opening up to it again. And you've got to do it quickly, because I really get the sensation that for a lot of you, it's not too far in the future that you will meet this person. I'm not saying be together with them, but I know who, you know, sort of look and think, oh, I like you. In fact, you could be the one. You know, have that attraction, because it's the Eight of Wands. It's almost preparing for, you know, the big speed of it. yeah, that's your reading. So those of you that chose option 4, there you go. Please let me know in the comments section, like and subscribe and all the rest of it. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can. Everything you need to know is in the description box, so give it a good read and then send me an email and I will try and help you. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening to me. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself and goodbye.